Greetings, mere mortals of Gillinor. It is I, Maxon Maxoff,
And BYO Benny.
the fearless adventurer, the auspicious explorer, the mildly competent gamer. Welcome to the sacred digital space, a realm where pixels are our portion, and where the click of a mouse echoes like the powerful incantations of the mightiest mages. But alas, a new prophecy foretells of an enigmatic currency, a resplendent accolade, the ultimate emblem of braggadocio, the glory.
Yet, the paths to garner this illustrious treasure are as murky as the swamps of Lumbridge, as ambiguous as the meaning behind every UP text I've ever sent. Fear not, for I shall embark on a quest most extraordinary, a saga sprinkled with the essence of curiosity, valor, and an unreasonable amount of planking. Together we shall navigate the labyrinth of skills, combat the ferocious monsters of doubt, and occasionally get utterly bamboozled by the unpredictability of old school's hardest tasks.
Alright, folks, now that we've gotten introductions out of the way, welcome to the first episode of the series, Path to Glory. A series in which me and my buddy Benny will explore the hardest content OSRS has to offer to master all of the most challenging mechanics in preparation for the Fortis Colosseum. We are going to be doing this series in several parts, delving deep into the core mechanics of OSRS to understand how the developers introduced past mechanics, the state of the mechanics currently, and what the newest content like DT2 might mean for the skills required for Fortis Colosseum. We're not stopping there though. Just looking at what might be needed is one thing, but now we gotta be able to pull it all off. We'll start this by using this chart to represent what pieces of content we believe to be relevant, as well as what mechanics are most likely to translate to the good old Fortis Colosseum. Using this information, we will master and employ the most sweaty, high-skill methods there are to hone in our understanding and ability. Neither of us is Wooks incarnate, but even Wooks had to start somewhere, and this is that somewhere we're starting from. Obviously, our boss logs leave a lot to be desired, but we believe through a little analytics, a lot of runbacks, and your accountability, we'll push the Colosseum to its limits. I know what you're thinking though. What gear will you need to pull off the most glorious climb to rank 1? Well, wonder no longer, because to challenge the best of the best, full max will almost certainly be required. With a couple specific changes, of course. The last and most mysterious element of Fortis Colosseum we'll be looking at is the post-round power-up and power-downs. This is new for OSRS and throws a major curveball at the consistency and straightforward nature of RS's pre-existing and preset mechanics. To sum it up, this one will test your decision making similar to CG or TOA's Helpful Spirit supply drops. Although this is new to OSRS, there are several major titles that have employed this mechanic before. We'll do a deep dive into how these games have implemented this process, as well as look into several hints given to us by the J-mods. But for now, let's take a look at just some of the activities and bosses Benny and I intend to master, as we set out on a journey together, on a path to glory. While we take a look at some of the gameplay mechanics we'll be tackling, let's talk a little bit more about what we can expect from us in this series. Our first installation will be our tinfoil hat theory video, outlining all of the reveals surrounding Fortis Colosseum drop by Jagex, where we'll take a look at hints given, teaser photos, and any other info we can squeeze out. This is where we'll theory craft what we're going to see moving into the fight. We believe we've got a pretty good idea what we're going to see, and that will guide our mechanical training and gear progression. With such a massive backlog of content available for consumption, starting out on a journey to perfect the mechanics can be pretty daunting, which is why we'll start each segment by focusing in on one mechanic and reducing the learning process to its most simple form. An example would be a mechanic like prayer shutoffs, a situation in which a boss shuts off your protection prayer, most often followed by a type attack that requires immediate protection prayer response, or it will result in a massive hit. There are a multitude of different bosses that employ this mechanic, with varying levels of difficulty. We'll take a look at how to handle these bosses and the implications surrounding this specific mechanic. In this instance, we might start with a piece of content like Gauntlet, the Corrupted Hunlith having this capability, segue into what new threats are posed by the Corrupted Hunlith, a more advanced version of the Hunlith, and round out with analysis of battles like Challenge Mode Chambers of Xeric and Expert Tombs of Amaskid. By observing top players and their in-game mannerisms, as well as studying and mimicking their strategies, Benny and I will strengthen our skill base and knowledge before we inevitably attempt to conquer the Colosseum. We'll be making this series from the perspective of an Iron Man, which Benny and I both are, but I want to hammer it home right now, this series will not be about skilling or resource gathering. Those activities, while important to a complete endgame, will most likely not be relevant to mastering the new PvM encounter. We will focus on gear progression though, as we want the series to be approachable for an Iron Man as well. No excuses, Iron Men, we're showing you how to get there. So we will be covering what gear we'll need more thoroughly and the progression we'll make along the way. Because at the end of the day, this isn't a series focused on whether or not the Colosseum can be tamed, but a series on how we prepared for and eventually took it down. And that's going to do it for today's video. Next up will be a theory crafting video for the Colosseum, where we will break down everything we know so far. So like and subscribe to not miss out on this journey for glory, and leave a comment letting us know what you think of the upcoming arena. And until next time, game on, brothers.